Welcome to Unwritten, Stories from Snuggly.Cloud, where each tale unfolds with every choice. Settle in and let the narrative guide you.
The news reports unprecedented storms, food shortages, and rising civil unrest. The countdown begins. Choose your starting area. Once chosen, plan your preparation.
City, crowded, resources nearby, but dangers are high.
You find yourself in a dense urban jungle. The streets are clogged with abandoned cars, and flickering streetlights cast uneasy shadows in the growing dusk. The air smells of smoke and distant rain. Voices echo, some hostile, others pleading. Your shelter is a boarded-up basement apartment on the city's fringe, offering some concealment but limited access. Food supplies are limited to canned goods lasting a few days. Water runs from a nearby public fountain, but you're unsure if it's safe. The news on a cracked TV warns of escalating looting and police withdrawal. The countdown presses on, and tensions rise among the desolate. Your current resources: food, 5 canned meals; water, unsure of purity; shelter, secure but cramped basement; tools, pocket knife, flashlight, half batteries. Options ahead.
Venture into nearby grocery stores to scavenge supplies despite risks.
The evening grows colder, and the city's rhythm descends into chaos. You slip out through a cracked door into the alley, heart pounding as distant screams mix with sirens. The grocery store, once bustling, now stands in eerie silence, its front windows shattered, shelves ransacked. Inside, the musty smell of rotting produce assaults your senses immediately. The flickering emergency lights barely illuminate scattered cans and a few boxes left behind. Suddenly, a shadow shifts near the frozen goods aisle. You freeze, someone else is scavenging too. Your pulse spikes. Choices.
Hide and observe to assess the stranger's intentions before acting.
You slip behind a toppled display of canned beans, clinging to the shadows. The stranger is a young woman, her face streaked with grime and fear, clutching a worn backpack. She moves cautiously, murmuring to herself as she picks over scattered bread and juice boxes. Her hands tremble, revealing exhaustion or worse. Despite the desolation, she doesn't brandish a weapon, only hunger and desperation. You weigh your options in the ghostly quiet. Tensions rise as the cold seeps in.
Step out and offer to share some supplies, hoping for alliance.
You step into the dim light, hands raised slightly to show you mean no harm. The woman startles, clutching her backpack tighter, eyes darting to your pocket knife. You speak softly. "I'm not here to fight. I have some food to share if you're willing." She hesitates, then lowers her guard incrementally. "I've been on my own for days. Sharing could keep us both alive," she admits, voice brittle but relieved. You exchange supplies. A few canned meals for a couple juice boxes she found untouched. An uneasy alliance forms amid the ruins. But the quiet is fragile. Outside, distant shouts warn of looters closing in. Time is slipping. The countdown ticks louder. Your combined supplies are still thin. You must decide your next move fast.
Propose a risky quest to the pharmacy nearby for medical aid and water purifiers.
You explain the urgency. Without medical supplies and clean water, survival will grow impossible fast. She nods grimly, stuffing a few more cans into her backpack. Together, you slip out through the side exit, hearts pounding with each cautious step. The pharmacy lies 2 blocks away, its large windows cracked but surprisingly intact. However, the street is a gauntlet of overturned trash bins, scattered glass, and groups of shadowy figures prowling for supplies or worse. Ahead, you spot a group armed with makeshift weapons blocking the entrance. Your options:
Attempt to sneak past the group using alleys and cover, risking detection.
you hug the shadows close, pressing against the crumbling brick walls. Every footstep is a calculated risk as you weave through alleys slick with rain and garbage. The murmur of the armed group grows louder, their rough laughter echoing ominously. Halfway past, a stray bottle clatters against a dumpster. One of them spins, eyes locking onto you. A chase erupts, your breath ragged as you dart through narrow passages. The woman behind you stumbles, but keeps pace. Ahead, a rusted fire escape offers a desperate escape route. Your choices now:
Climb the fire escape quickly, risking a loud clatter that could attract others.
you grab the rusty metal ladder, fingers numb but determined. Your footing slips once, sending a sharp clang echoing through the alley. The woman shouts, scrambling up behind you. The group below freezes, then yells erupt as they start climbing after you. Reaching the rooftop, you find a narrow ledge along the building's edge. Below, the sounds of pursuit grow fainter, but you know it's only a matter of time before they encircle you. On the rooftop, you spot a vent shaft that might lead inside the pharmacy, and a fire escape ladder descending the building's far side, possibly an escape route or a perilous drop. Your choices:
Jump across to the adjacent rooftop to evade pursuers, but risk a dangerous gap.
the gap between rooftops yawns wide in front of you, a dark void that promises either freedom or a deadly fall. Your heart thunders in your ears as you take a few steps back, gauging your run-up. The woman behind you breathes heavily, ready to follow your lead. You sprint, every muscle coiled tight, launching yourself forward. Your hands scrape against the rough edge of the next roof, clutching desperately as you pull yourself up. For a terrifying moment, your grip falters. The woman's shout mingles with your gasp, but you haul yourself up just in time. Behind you, the pursuers stop at the edge, snarling in frustration. The adjacent rooftop is littered with debris, but offers a temporary sanctuary. However, in the distance, dark clouds gather and the first heavy drops of rain begin to fall, making surfaces slick and your escape more precarious. Your options:
Signal the woman to move toward a distant water tower that might provide cover and higher ground.
you point toward the looming silhouette of the water tower against the darkening sky. The woman nods, understanding the urgency. Together, you race across the slippery rooftop toward the structure, dodging loose cables and broken tiles. Rain intensifies, drumming on metal and concrete, masking your footsteps. Reaching the tower's base, you find a narrow ladder spiraling upward. The ascent is grueling. Slick rungs and growing fatigue threaten your grip. Halfway up, the storm peaks, wind howls, and lightning forks nearby, illuminating the city in stark flashes. From above, you could get a better view of the area, potential escape routes, and stay out of reach from ground threats. But the climb is dangerous, and staying in the open makes you vulnerable. Choices:
Continue climbing to the top despite the storm's fury, aiming for vantage and shelter.
gripping the ladder tightly, you steel yourself against the wild wind and pelting rain. Each rung feels more treacherous than the last. Your soaked hands slip once, but you catch yourself just in time. The woman's shaky breaths echo behind you, determination mirroring your own. Finally, you reach the top platform, a cramped metal cage offering some protection from the storm. The view is breathtaking and terrifying: shattered city blocks, flickering fires, and distant figures moving like shadows below. The storm rages, but here you are above much of the chaos, momentarily safe. Yet safety is fragile, and hunger gnaws. You spot a nearby maintenance box that might contain tools or supplies, but opening it risks noise. The countdown ticks on relentlessly. Options.
Open the maintenance box quickly for possible tools or supplies, risking noise.
You pry open the rusty maintenance box, wincing as the metal groans loudly against the storms and inside. You find a jar of iodine tablets, a flashlight with fresh batteries, and a folded city map marked with emergency zones. The sound of the box opening draws distant shouts from below. Someone is aware you're here. The woman grips your arm, eyes wide in alarm. Your window to act is narrow. Decisions must come fast.
Scout the cityscape again, focusing on possible extraction points or safe routes illuminated by lightning.
You hold the edged map in one hand, flashlight in the other, sweeping its beam across the battered cityscape. Lightning flickers sharply, revealing potential pathways: a damaged bridge to the east that might support a desperate crossing, a faint glow from what could be a subway entrance to the north, and a cluster of stacked shipping containers near the harbor, a possible hiding spot or extraction point. The storm's relentless roar covers distant sounds of pursuit, but you know it won't last forever. Every second counts. You must pick your escape route carefully before descending into treacherous streets again. Choices.
Head toward the subway entrance, using underground passages to evade threats but risking disorientation.
You lead the woman down the ladder against the still howling wind, your clothes drenched but resolve unbroken. Navigating the rain-slicked roofs and slippery fire escapes, you make your way cautiously toward the muted glow of the subway entrance. Descending into the subway's darkness is a gamble. The damp air smells of mildew and decay. Your flashlight cuts through thick shadows, revealing graffiti-scarred walls and flooded tunnels. The screams and chaos above fade into a muffled hum beneath the city, but the tunnels feel labyrinthine. One wrong turn could trap you permanently. You hear faint echoes ahead, voices, footsteps, something alive down here. Your options.
Search the tunnel walls and floors for signs, messages, or hidden caches left by others.
Your flashlight's beam dances over the grimy tunnel walls, revealing scrawled chalk marks and hastily drawn symbols, some warnings of danger, others pointing toward supply caches or safe havens deeper underground. Near a faded arrow, you find a small hidden compartment nestled in chipped bricks, containing a half-empty bottle of water, a few energy bars, and a crumpled note. Safe zone 2 blocks east. The sounds ahead grow closer, a mix of hurried footsteps and muffled voices. Your choices.
Quickly gather the hidden supplies and stealthily follow the note's directions toward the safe zone.
You hastily grab the water and energy bars, tucking them securely into your pack. The note's instructions echo in your mind as you slip quietly into the shadows, navigating the damp tunnels with careful precision. Every step is measured to avoid snapping twigs or dislodging loose debris. The voices fade behind you as you follow the note's path eastward, guided by faint chalk marks and the intermittent flicker of idle subway lights. Moments stretch into agonizing minutes, But finally, you spot a battered metal door reinforced by boards and barricades, a potential safe zone. Cautiously, you knock thrice, pausing to hear any sign of life inside. Choices.
Attempt to peek through a narrow crack or ventilation grate before making contact.
You crouch low, edging closer to the door. There's a narrow gap between the warped wooden boards. You carefully position your eye near the crack, breath held tight. Inside, dim light reveals a small group huddled around a makeshift fire, a mix of weary faces, some armed, others tending to wounds. They freeze momentarily as your shadow passes over the grate, but do not immediately raise an alarm. A middle-aged man steps forward, eyeing the door cautiously, but with no sign of immediate hostility. You catch snippets of conversation, talk of rationing supplies, watching for roving gangs, and a fragile hope for safety. This looks like a possible refuge, but trust is a dangerous gamble. Your options.
Call out softly, introducing yourself and requesting shelter.
Your voice is low, but steady through the crack. We don't mean any harm, just looking for shelter and safe passage. The group tenses, hands tightening on weapons. Moments stretch unbearably. Then the man replies, "Show yourselves. We'll decide if you can stay." You step into the dim light, the woman right behind you. The group watches you carefully, but offers no immediate aggression. The fragile bonds of survival hang in the balance. You're inside the safe zone, but the storm outside doesn't stop. The countdown ticks ever closer. Options.
Offer to share your supplies and help watch the perimeter to earn their trust.
You unstrap your pack and lay out the water, iodine tablets, and energy bars. We have little but what we found. Sharing what we can might help us all get through this. The group exchanges wary glances. The man nods slowly. We could use eyes on the perimeter, especially with the storm hiding movement outside. If you're willing to help, you might just have a place here. The woman relaxes, and you feel a brief spark of hope within the tense air. Together, you take vantage near a broken window, scanning the dark streets beneath the relentless rain. Time presses on. Choices.
Use the opportunity during watch to quietly explore the safe zone's boundaries.
The storm's relentless rhythm is a loud backdrop, masking your footsteps as you slip away from the small perimeter post. The safe zone is a patchwork of barricades, makeshift tents, and scattered belongings, improvised defenses against a city unraveling. Faint, muffled conversations drift from the fire pit. Moving carefully, you trace the barriers, noting weak points where the walls sag and gaps show under the rain. A rusted gate hanging loosely seems an obvious vulnerability. Beyond it, you glimpse a narrow alley overrun with debris and shadows, potential cover for any approaching threat, or an escape route if things go wrong. Suddenly, a soft clicking sound catches your attention, a subtle but unnatural noise coming from a nearby stack of crates. Your options.
Investigate the clicking sound cautiously, ready to respond to any threat.
You crouch low, moving toward the source of the clicking with quiet, deliberate steps. The rain muffles your approach, but your senses sharpen. Every breath, every shifting shadow pulls your focus taut. Peering around the crates, you spot a small mechanical device. Someone has rigged a rudimentary alarm, likely to alert the group of intruders. Your heart quickens. This could be a boon for the safe zone or a threat, depending on who set it and if they realize it's triggered. Your options.
Attempt to modify the device to use it as an early warning against approaching threats.
You carefully examine the device, your fingers working deftly despite the sting of cold rain. Tweaking wires and shifting bits of metal, you manage to alter its mechanism. Now it will trigger a low, almost inaudible chime inside the safe zone whenever someone steps near, serving as a subtle early warning without alarming enemies. A small but vital advantage in a fragile holdout. Returning to the perimeter, you brief the group leader on your modification. He nods approvingly, a rare smile breaking his grim demeanor. The storm lessens slightly as dawn nears, but the city's dangers remain relentless. Your choices now.
Use the calm before dawn to conduct a reconnaissance mission for additional supplies.
The dim, gray light of early dawn seeps through makeshift openings as rain fades into a mist. The city sleeps unevenly beneath you, some streets deserted, others jittery with movement. You gather a small group of trusted survivors, including the woman who's proven steady by your side. The plan: slip quietly from the safe zone to scavenge an abandoned warehouse reported on your map. It's a precarious mission. Supplies there could make the difference between survival and surrender. Steeling yourselves, you move with practiced caution, using shadows and ruined cover. Every sound feels amplified. Every step carries weight as you approach the warehouse's rusted gates. Inside, broken crates and scattered debris suggest others have been here recently. Time is tight before hunters or looters return. Choices. You decide to scout the perimeter first, cautious about possible traps or ambushes. The warehouse's exterior walls are scarred with graffiti, and a faint scent of decay floats in the damp air. Moving silently around, you spot several crude tripwires strung precariously near the back entrance, clearly set to deter or capture unwelcome visitors. With the warnings noted, you and your group decide on the best approach to neutralize or avoid these traps before moving inside. Your options.
Focus on quick grabs of high-value medical kits and water purification tablets.
Aware that time is against you and traps wait to ensnare the unwary, you decide to move swiftly through the warehouse's main floor. Your eyes scan shelves and crates, prioritizing anything marked with the red cross of medical supplies and water purification. Near a toppled shelf, you uncover a dusty but intact first aid kit and several sealed packets of water purification tablets. The haul isn't large, but these supplies are invaluable, perhaps critical for the survival of everyone back at the safe zone. Suddenly, a slight creak echoes from above, a floorboard shifted. Someone else is in the warehouse. The air thickens with tension as shadows flicker along the rafters. Your choices.
Hide quietly among the crates and observe who or what is upstairs.
You melt into the shadows between the towering crates, your breath shallow as your eyes adjust to the dimness. Above, faint footsteps patter slowly, then pause uncertainly. A figure, a young man, ragged and cautious, emerges, scanning the floor below. His hands clutch a worn backpack. He looks as desperate as you feel. He mutters under his breath about food and safe passages, clearly a survivor like you. Yet, whether he's friend, foe, or simply another desperate soul is uncertain. Your options.
Attempt a quiet signal to indicate peaceful intent and invite dialogue.
You inch forward enough to catch a glint of moonlight on a small mirror shard in your pack. Carefully positioning it, you catch a faint reflection of light against a nearby wall, rhythmically flashing a simple Morse code, SLS, hoping he notices. The young man freezes, his head swiveling sharply. After a tense moment, he lowers his makeshift weapon cautiously and calls out, "Who's there? I'm not looking for trouble." You respond softly, explaining you only seek supplies and safety. The tension eases as he steps down slowly, hands visible and open. An uneasy truce forms in the cold, silent warehouse. Your choices.
Invite him to join your group back at the safe zone, offering shared protection.
You step forward slowly, extending a hand and offering a tentative smile. We could use another pair of eyes and hands. Our safe zone is small but secure, and there's strength in numbers. Join us. We can protect each other. The young man hesitates, the weight of loneliness and danger clear in his eyes. After a long beat, he nods, dropping his guard. As you gather your supplies and prepare to leave the warehouse, a flicker of hope surges amid the storm's lingering chill. The countdown continues. Every step forward counts. Choices.
Lead the group back quickly to the safe zone, avoiding known dangers on the way.
You choose speed and caution, retracing steps along well-worn paths marked by past scavengers and your own careful mapping. The city's shadows seem a little less hostile under the waning storm, but every corner could still hide danger. Your new ally moves close, matching your pace as you avoid crumbled streets known to attract roving gangs. The modified alarm silently waits back at the safe zone, a sentinel in the dim light. When you arrive, the group welcomes the extra hands with guarded relief, their vigilance sharpening. Fresh supplies bolster spirits, but the fragile calm doesn't last long. Strange noises echo from beyond the barricades, footsteps mixed with low, urgent voices that are too organized to be ordinary looters. The countdown accelerates in your mind. Choices.
Send a small team, including yourself, to scout and gather intel on the approaching threat.
You quickly rally a small scouting party, yourself, the woman who's proven dependable, and the new ally from the warehouse. Armed with makeshift weapons and stealth in your steps, you slip through a side passage of the barricades into the wet and broken streets. The voices grow louder ahead, organized, tense. Peering around a corner, you spot a group of heavily armed figures, their leader barking orders about securing supplies and clearing resistance. They wear mismatched military gear, making them more dangerous than typical looters. Your heart pounds. Detection would mean a brutal confrontation your group might not survive. Your options.
Try to eavesdrop longer to learn their numbers and plans before risking any action.
You crouch in the shadowed doorway, straining your ears as the figures pace and plan. Carefully, you count at least a dozen, more than your safe zone can hold in a fight. Their leader's voice is sharp and commanding, detailing a raid targeting all known survivor enclaves and emphasizing speed and brutality. They mention a cache of weapons rumored to be just blocks away, fueling their urgency. The stakes have sharpened to a razor's edge. Your options.
Return immediately to warn your group and prepare defenses with all haste.
You signal your team silently and retreat with swift, cautious steps back toward the safe zone. The rain-slick streets feel heavier underfoot as the weight of impending danger presses down harder. Inside the barricades, urgency ripples through your group when you issue the warning. The leader snaps orders: fortify weak points, distribute weapons, and ready traps. The modified alarm's low chime now rings out frequently as scouts take positions, hearts pounding in the fragile sanctuary. Outside, the approaching raiders' footsteps drum the ominous beat of a coming storm. Your choices.
Coordinate a layered defense with archers and lookouts placed strategically for maximum coverage.
You gather your group quickly, assigning roles with precision. The tallest survivors take to the exposed rooftops as lookouts and archers, equipped with makeshift bows strapped together from scavenged parts. Others man the barricades, ready with sharpened stakes and improvised firearms. The modified alarm offers an early warning, its faint chime a nervy pulse in the thickening tension. Every shadow seems a threat, every silent moment weighs heavy. From your vantage point, you watch the approaching raider faction move like a storm, organized, brutal, and dangerously close. The calm before the battle is a coiled spring. Your choices.
Attempt to lead a small group on a flanking maneuver around a raider's flank during the fight.
You gather a small, agile team, 2 sharpshooters and the new ally from the warehouse, moving quietly through ruined alleys and shadowed side streets. Your plan: strike the raiders' flank unexpectedly, creating confusion and forcing them to divide their forces. The battle erupts with thudding footsteps and shouted commands as the raiders breach the perimeter. Your archers send a flurry of arrows into the massed enemy ranks, and your team slips through cracks in the chaos. As you near the enemy flank, gunfire crackles and a sudden hail of bullets erupts nearby. The new ally cries out, stumbling hit. Your heart sinks, but you press forward, adrenaline sharp. Options.
You've been listening to Unwritten on Snuggly.Cloud. Thank you for joining the story. Until next time, may your path be calm and your choices be yours.